Hi, this is Stephen Brower from Mountain Valley Community College. This is for computer literacy in summer 2017. This is going to be part 4 of the intro to Excel. In this part, I'm mainly going to clean up my mess from the prior 3. By the way, on the left-hand side over here, this is what the final spreadsheet should look like, or similar to, for the Excel 15A chapter. And so some of the formatting that I did in my demo was not in line exactly with what they did in the demo. So let me just go and fix a couple of things. So one is for the cell styles. They made that title, and then actually I forget exactly what they had made this. That was the heading 1. Okay. And so then this would be heading 1. And then I think what they did is they took the January through total, held the control, did the brand to the total, and made those plain old heading 4. Okay, this might be a good thing to let me kind of restart. Yeah, in terms of the headings it did it, but it didn't remove the borders that were there. And let's just say you get to a point like where I am, where you completely got bad formats. And so in the upper right-hand corner here under clear, and I got to be careful what you hear, if you hit clear all, everything's gone. If you hear click clear contents, all the data's gone. But if I just do clear formats, it puts it back in an unformatted way. The formulas are still there. So these are the formulas that I had put in. The data is still there. But at least it cleared out my formats. So let me just put this back. So I have to reapply the Merge and Center for here, reapply the Merge and Center for here. And now let's apply the styles closer to the way they did it. So the title and the heading 1. And then if I highlight these and highlight these, then that would be heading 4. And if I highlight just these, then that would be the total. So at least in terms of the styles, I just put it, my demo, closer into the form that was supposed to be for Excel 15A. I think in my demo I was just caught up in picking stuff without necessarily doing what was supposed to be right. The other thing I did not do in my demo, if you notice over here, the formatting that's applied. Now, here we have dollars and cents. Here we don't see the cents if this is supposed to be dollars. And what they did apply is I highlighted, I'm going to take the first row and the last row. And this one over here, this $sign, that's the accounting number format. And what it does is it puts the $sign kind of like far left in a sense. It's fixed there as opposed to floating. There's another style that actually has the $sign floating. And so another time for financial reports is the first line and the last line have the $sign, the other ones don't. So then these others here would get, if I just click the comma by default, it has that. Where it's the same format as the accounting minus the $sign. So if we did have something that was in thousands, actually let's, for giggles and grins, let's get somewhere in the thousands here. And oh, well, this wasn't my intention, but here's a couple of good things. So if you do see pounds coming up, it would mean that the column that you have is not wide enough for the data that is displayed. Now, one thing you could do, and you have to be careful to make sure there's not other stuff in there, if you just double click to the right of the column that has, up in the header up here, to the right of the column that has the pound signs, then at least you can get it wide enough for the column itself. We didn't have to do that over here, but obviously I'm having to do that here. What I wanted, I'm sorry, to finish over here was show that there's the comma in the thousands place. here's the comma in the thousands place. So it's this B, in my demo, B5 to E6 has the comma format, which has everything but the $sign. So it's 2 decimals for the 2 places for the decimal point, comma in the thousands position. So both that $sign and the comma, they will line up. So the periods then do line up at this point. Okay, so that was one thing that I didn't do over there. Okay, you see how right now at the present moment my active cell is right here, this D6. So let me save and let me close this. By the way, I changed the quick toolbar up here to include close, mainly because I'm always opening and closing files. Let me just go and reopen that file that I had just closed. And when I open it, you notice how the active cell is here. In Microsoft Word, when we open a document, it puts us in the beginning of the document, no matter where our cursor was at the time we saved. In Excel, when we save and then close our spreadsheet, wherever the active cell was when we saved, it is that when we start up again. So although the book has been directing you to put a lot of times up in A1, the safest thing to do is to park the active cell in a place where there isn't any data. And the idea behind it, and let's just save and close this again, is suppose we open up our spreadsheet. It's now defaulted somewhere where there isn't anything. So if I accidentally start typing, I'm not overlaying the data that I have in my spreadsheet. So I am deviating a little from the book in at least showing that, but that is what a number of people will do, is they park the active cell into an empty cell so that if you open the spreadsheet and accidentally type something, you don't get the you don't overlay something you shouldn't have. Okay, when I was doing the headers, I went through a different way than they did. I'm going to say they, the chapter 15A, and they always left it in sort of this view, but if you notice right now I'm in sort of the print layout view. So down here, I didn't go through this, so this page layout view, we actually will see the headers. This is what it would look like if we print. This one right here that's normal, if I click this, then the header and footer just disappears. So it's a little bit different in a sense than Word. More times than not in Word, we stay in the print layout or the page layout view. In Excel, a lot of times, just to get the real estate of the header up top and the margin on the side, we remove it so that we don't have to, well, we remove it so we have a little more space. Okay, so a couple other things that I didn't do. So in my video, prior videos, first 3, I didn't talk about the highest column and the highest row. What I'm going to, oh, and hang on, before I do this, let me move my cursor here to A1. Oh no, let me move it down here. Oop, that's what I want to explain what I just did. My cursor was here. If I hit the home key, it takes me to the beginning of the line. But if I hit the end key, nothing happens, because you have to hit one more key after the end key. So I hit the end key, now I hit the right arrow, it goes to the end of the line. So this also can be useful, so right here I'm at the top of March, and if I hit the end key and then down arrow, it takes me down to the bottom of the list. So that's very helpful, the end key, END, followed by an arrow, up, down, left, right, to take us all the way to the top or the bottom or the left and the right for the data that we are in. Well, if I happen to be not on the data, and I do the end and I hit the right, I end up here at this column. And what happens in terms of the columns is that after the A to Z, then it goes AA, AB, AC, etc. So this would be sort of the highest column that can exist. And if I do an end and a down arrow, then this 1,048,576, then this would be the highest row. So I didn't do that previously. So something that is directed in the lab, if I just do a Control Home, takes me back to the beginning of the document. I'm just going to put it, the spreadsheet, and I'm just going to put it somewhere where I can park it and not actually hurt anything. Okay. One other thing I didn't show in the prior 3 videos was showing formulas. Now, the book had you step through a different way to step through the formulas than what I'm about to do. Well, on the keyboard, in the upper left-hand corner, and it'll probably be near the escape key, there's a key that has the top symbol is like a curly, or it's like a tilde, and then below it is like a backwards apostrophe. So the regular apostrophe is over by the Enter key, but in the upper left-hand corner of the keyboard, there's something that actually has the backwards apostrophe. And if I just type for a second, so I'm just doing, I just hit the single apostrophe, it's that. If I hit the back apostrophe, it's the one that goes back like that. Let me just hit escape. Well, if I do Control and hit that backwards apostrophe, that'll put me in formula mode. So when I'm grading your guys' spreadsheets, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to do, and this is like a toggle, so I'm going to do that Control accent and just see that the formulas are here. So when I'm grading your spreadsheets, now they don't have to be these exact formulas. Well, actually, if I come over here, they don't have to be the exact formulas the way the book had put it in. We're just looking, I'm looking at the row here has row totals, or at least through April through June, there's row totals. These are columns. April through June, these are column totals. And then exercise bikes through rowing machines, that these are row totals. And then the total here is either going to be the row total or the column total up to that point. So I'm just going to be looking for your formulas, and that's how I'm going to quickly do it. So sometimes there's an aspect of Excel that's almost easier to grade because I can just do the Control backwards accent, backwards apostrophe, sorry, and I can see the formulas. Okay, let me just pause 1 second. Okay, final things. What I didn't go over in my demos were the trends. I'll let you do that. The book directed us to apply themes and colors here. I didn't go through that. When I'm grading your 15A, I'm looking that there is a chart here, and the chart is on the right area. So I'm looking that the legend has the names, and I'm looking that in terms of the bars, they are showing the April, the May, and the June. If it's not exactly this color scheme, I'm not going to, I'm going to be happy there's a chart there. So again, if you don't have the colors set the exact same way that the book had, don't worry about that. Same thing up here. If these colors are not necessarily the same way, the styles, I am looking, that there's an attempt made at the styles. Well, I'm looking at there's an attempt made at the styles, not that every single cell is exactly the way that it's done. I'm just trying to have it get as close as possible. Okay, so this was just sort of the leftovers for that. This concludes the intro to Excel. Thank you.